At the end of my first year, I was left feeling vulnerable. I didn't know who I wanted to be. I didn't know what options that I had. I just knew that I had money for school, and it came down to that for me at that time. And it wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough for me to say, okay, I'm in school, because your time is so limited while you're there. When you're only funded for 4 years, you have to show the people who had faith in you to get that far that you still have drive to keep moving forward. Even if you have a hiccup here and a hiccup there, that you can still, at the end of the day, come back to yourself and be able to make those progressive steps in your life, because that's why they gave you the option. That's why they gave you the opportunity to use a resource that they had. So what I decided to do at that time was to look at the resources around me, and I realized that there were workshops I could attend, and I sat in on a few panel talks to hear from professionals how they got to where they were. And in going to those talks and realizing that the journey was, as I said, it wasn't linear. It wasn't linear. It turned out to be quite wrong. They had done HR, and then they had done environmental, and then they decided, oh, like maybe I want to go back to art. That's how I feel. And it worked for them. So I thought, why can't that work for me? Why can't I try out a few things and see if they work or see if they don't work, to get to where I'm supposed to be, to get to where I need to be in a field that feels right. So what I did was I consulted some older adults, and I took it upon myself to ask those important questions and say, how do I put myself out there? Who should I be talking to gain knowledge about those fields that seemed very far away? They did not seem within reach. And the conclusion was that it all came down to grassroots. You can walk down the street and walk into a store, or send an email to an agency and say, hi, I'm a student. I'm interested in what you're doing. Do you have any opportunities? Or do you know anybody who might be able to give me this opportunity? And in putting yourself out there, people notice that. They hold on to that, because in a place where it's strange to just talk to people on the street, they notice that courage, they notice that drive when you go up to them and you say, hi, I like what you're doing. How can I become you? How did you get there? I'd really like to know. I'm really interested. And they enjoy that. So I tried, and I found myself walking down the street one day, and I saw a help wanted sign in a window at a gallery, which at that time was my interest. And I walked in with my friends, and I felt very nervous, and my friends encouraged me. They said, go tell them that you're a student, go tell them. And I finally took a deep breath and said, okay. And it turned out well. They said, you're a student, you'd like to learn, we'll give you that opportunity to learn. And that was great. For a couple months, I learned what I wanted to learn, and from that experience, I learned that that field wasn't for me. It didn't give me that itch and that drive to move forward and to keep making progress in that field. It was great for that time. But in going through that journey, I realized that I needed to take a new direction.